In a faraway galaxy, there's a small planet named Reddit. The beings that colonize this planet seek to destroy all that we know is true. Two brave, middle-aged YouTubers seek to defend that truth and protect their home planet from the disasters that threaten their very existence. These are the tales of Reddit real estate disasters. Welcome. Hello, Jackie.
Hello,
How are you
Jen.
today?
I'm great. You clearly took a long shower today to come up with that intro.
Are you ready to save the world? Are you ready to save the world here?
Ready to save the world. Yes. Yes. Let's do this.
We're here to entertain. We're here to entertain because I feel like half the time I want to just fly in with the cape flapping because like everybody's just kind of, I don't want to do anything. Help me, help me, help me, help me. I can't do anything.
Yep.
Like when I have to unload my own dishwasher.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing? You went to a comedy show last night.
Yeah, we saw Brian Regan last night down in Englewood, New Jersey, at the Bergen Performing Arts Center, and he was good. He was really good. I gotta say, it's funny going to these types of shows, like he's 65 years old, so
it's crazy.
We were out by 9:30. Like, this is great. I like
you know
middle
what?
age.
I always used, when I was younger, I was always like, oh, the early dinners and like the early bird specials and all the things, and we would mock them and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, cool, I get to eat early and save a little money.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
I'm like, some of my friends invited me out, go out, and I'm like, what time? Like 6 o'clock? Sure, it sounds good.
Yeah. 6. Home by 8, 9 o'clock latest.
At 9 o'clock at the latest.
Yeah.
That's funny. I know. I can't believe he's 65.
He's 65.
That's
but he was
bonkers,
great.
Man. He was so good in Loudermilk.
Yeah.
He was so funny. Like, that's such a funny. I love that dark comedy stuff.
Oh, I know. Me too.
So good.
He was
good.
He was good last night. So it was a good time. I was home and in bed by like 10. It was awesome. Great. That's a good show right there.
There's another one that just came out on Netflix. Gosh, what was the name of it? It's got the man that fell. The man is falling or something like that. I don't know. You should check it out. Steve would like it. Yeah. Gosh, what's the man? Somebody on this show. Somebody who's listening to this I'll know as soon as I get off as soon as we hit stop. Right. I remember it. It was good. It was really, really good. It was about a real estate mogul that dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Great.
There you go. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen. Thanks. Appreciate it. Oh man.
Actually, that's what it should be. That's the button I should have pushed. Anywho, we're on episode 7, my dear.
Episode 7 already. How can that be?
Episode 7. This is let the good times roll, baby.
This little idea that just like blossomed, and here we go. Here we are. 7 episodes in.
People are like, I can't even go in the grocery store anymore. I got like paparazzi like stopping me and be like, oh my God, are you from Jen and Jackie?
Right?
Click, 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 click. I'm like, please, I just need milk and eggs. Please, can I just get some milk and eggs? Yeah, that's a fabrication and not true.
Yeah, we know.
In my mind.
Yes. It's what we're hoping for. But
I want to have a good time. And hey, if we can get a couple people that listen to us to laugh, there's so much crap in this world, and there's so much depression and so many hard things and so many people struggling. It's like, you know what? Laughter is always the best medicine.
Yes, it is.
Feeling is laughter is always the best medicine. So on that note, you got some good stuff cooked up or what?
Got some good stuff. As I said before, I love scrolling through Reddit, drinking my coffee in the morning, and some of these stories, Yeah, it's like I read these. I'm like,
Per
it's like,
usual.
yeah, like, I don't even know how to label these things, honestly, but, um, crazy, 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 like, you just, yeah, just wait till you hear. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Yep,
Yep.
yep. Okay,
Fire
so
away.
here we go. This is a good one. This was just from 2 days ago. The
Okay.
title of this is "Buyers Are Now Suing Me for Home Issues 2 years after purchase."
Because why not?
Because why not?
Because why
Because,
not?
"Hey, I'm unhappy with this house, and you should pay for this as these repairs." So here we go. After 2 years, the buyers have initiated legal action against me, claiming that the home has significant issues that were not adequately addressed during the sale. During the escrow period, the buyers conducted their own inspections and identified various issues related to the foundation, plumbing, and electrical systems. In good faith, I provided a $45,000 credit. 45,000. Oh my
40.
gosh.
What?
In this market? Wow.
Wow.
Provided a $45,000 credit to the buyers to address these issues, which they accepted before finalizing the purchase. Now, the buyers are alleging that the problems have worsened and are demanding $200,000 for repairs, citing major foundational movement, plumbing issues, and other damages. However, the purchase contract clearly stated that the home was sold as is. I was not obligated to provide any credits. And just to note, I had already spent over $100,000 in repairs to the foundation while I lived at the property, but they still requested credit for this, which I provided anyway with the $45,000. The buyers had the opportunity to inspect the property and negotiate repairs before the sale was finalized. I am seeking advice on what steps I can take to protect myself legally in this situation and what options are available to me. Finances are tight for me right now, and this is the last thing I want to deal with. My realtor's brokerage told me I should find my own attorney, as their attorney won't get involved. Who should I turn to for help in this matter? What outcomes can I expect from this case? Okay. That
Oh,
has scam written all over it for me. I mean, for those sellers, right, or the
yep.
buyers who purchased the
Yep.
home saying, I'm coming after you for $200,000, get out of here.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stop it.
That's garbage. You know what? Did they did they send when he says they're suing them, did he say they received a formal letter from
Yeah.
from the court? Or, or that it
Eh,
was that the lawsuit has been filed, or like just a letter from an attorney, or just a letter from the
he
buyers, or
doesn't
what?
he didn't specifically say. Hold on a second. Well, it says initiated legal action against me. So I'm assuming he got something from an attorney.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
What attorney would take that? But that's beside the point. Somebody cries loud enough in attorney,
Yeah.
some low life attorney is going to be like, oh, sure, we'll write it up and see what happens.
'Cause
It
it's,
could be a big
'cause it's
payday. Could be
yeah.
a big payday, right?
It's money for them, right? They're gonna
Yep.
charge by the hour, right, for their services, so why the hell not?
That
What is it?
sucks. This whole thing, it just like this, what sucks about this situation is that he has to he's going to prove his innocence, and that's going to cost money.
Right,
It's going to
right.
cost money,
But
I
now
mean,
here's the thing, who's to say they didn't purposely do stuff to the house, right? To try and say and then they're gonna say, "Well, the problems just got worse since we
right.
bought it, and this is your problem," and they're gonna claim that he didn't disclose, information, but that's hard to prove, right?
Right.
How are they gonna prove that?
Ah, man. I mean, so could he could he countersue
I would.
for for pain and anguish and stress?
Yeah, I would.
I would.
I would.
I
You
mean, why
know?
not? I
You
mean,
gonna
you're
win that
buying
way?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's 2 years. You
2
can't go
2
back.
2 years later.
You
But,
can't this okay. So he went through an attorney. I assume, let's just say for argument's sake, they went through real estate agents. Okay. And
yep,
here lies, somebody commented on my YouTube channel, one of my videos this week, about the fact that he's like, oh, just asking about for sale by owner and stuff like that. And he says, oh, if I'm going to be doing, ask me if I'm going to be doing any, videos on that topic.
Right.
And the reason he was asking is because he said, I did that and it was a nightmare. It was a
Right.
nightmare, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why it was likely a nightmare was because there's no, like, it's like going to a boxing match without a referee. You don't
Mhm.
have any rules. There's no rules of the game. There's nobody saying like, okay, well, I mean, I don't, most agencies have disclosures. I mean, there's the standard disclosures you have with your, you know,
Mhm.
right, your local state
Exactly.
and so on and so forth. But the thing is on top of that, when you're dealing with a real estate agent on either side,
Mhm.
their brokerage is going to layer more disclosures to protect you.
Right.
So either on both sides, right? The seller side is going to have, disclosures. I mean, my brokerage has, if somebody waives a home inspection, we have an additional home inspection waiver that the buyer needs to sign,
Oh, really?
level of protection, right? So, but if you're doing this by yourself, you're not necessarily going to have, you're not going to have that necessarily, like, unless you have a really, really good attorney who's going to, provide that for you. But let's just say, like, for argument's sake, there were, agents involved, and those agents had all that documentation, the disclosure documentation. I mean, I don't know how it is in Jersey, but in Massachusetts, holy crap, purchase and sale agreements, like, 15 pages when you're
Yeah.
done with all the attorney addendums and all the stuff,
Right. Yep.
and it's because they want to dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure that, hey, there's language in there that says, and we close, that's it. That's it.
Mhm.
So, like, so
Yeah.
what? You're going to go back and be like, yeah, I know you said I couldn't legally do this, but I kind of want to do it anyway.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I think you should give me money because, like, yeah, we regret buying this house and we're like super
Mhm.
financially strapped because we made a bad decision. And now we want you to give us money because we feel like we deserve it.
Right.
Screw you.
Exactly, screw you. Yeah, they're not
I mean,
honestly,
if you
that
let's
that
be
wouldn't
honest.
fly here. I don't think that would fly in Jersey. They wouldn't be able to get away with that because you're right, once it's sold, you're done. You can't
Now, okay,
come
so
back.
so let's take even more another step back, right? He gave them a $45,000 credit.
Mhm.
Okay. In this market, no matter where they are in the country, if a seller is giving that kind of money, that means there was something acknowledged.
Absolutely.
It wasn't
Yep.
just be like, "Oh, you know what? I know you guys are paying so much. Here's more money. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you money back." No. No,
No,
there was
there
something
was
that was
something
discovered
wrong.
or something that was right, something that was wrong. It was acknowledged. It was addressed. So, what does that mean? That means that maybe okay, so regardless of whether the seller knew about it, regardless of whether that money covered it, whatever, the reality is the buyers are aware that there was some sort of issue.
Mhm.
That's a risk you take. And if
Yep.
you don't have the financial capability or the capacity to roll with it if it gets out of hand,
Mhm.
you should be backing out of that deal and go find another house.
Exactly.
Period. Now, I mean, stuff comes up, but obviously this was not, I have to believe that it wasn't out of left field because there was a big flipping credit.
Yep.
That kinda said, like, there's gotta be something that the house isn't perfect. Do you
Right.
know what I
Yep. Yep, and
mean?
that's the thing, when you're buying a house, you're buying a, what do you call it? I can't even, like, think right now, but anyway, you're buying a house, you're buying a used house, right?
It's
It's
okay,
not new
exactly.
construction, you're
It's
buying a
yeah.
used house, it's going to come with problems, you
Yes.
know?
Yep.
I mean, if that's the case, if they're gonna be that way, why aren't you going after the home inspector then for, like, missing things? You know
Amen.
what I mean? You can't
Amen. Yep.
go after the seller 2 years later. No,
Do you know what
no.
I think?
What?
I'm thinking this, they're probably smoking the ganja. They're probably off their rocker. They gotta
They
be out of
are
their
off the
mind.
rocker.
They gotta be out of their mind. I
There's
don't know.
some
I just don't think that, yeah.
somebody put it in their heads. Somebody put that thought in their
Mhm.
heads, "Oh, you should sue them,"
Yep.
and they're running with it. So
Yeah, no, I absolutely, or they saw something. They probably read a story on Reddit.
yep,
They probably read a story on
they
Reddit, or
probably
yep, or
did.
some brother-in-law said, "Yo, dude, that's not right. They should have done that. I should have done that. They owe you money. They should fix it." Really? Oh,
Probably
yeah,
what
dude,
happened.
like, you know, d
Yep.
you should write a letter, and then, you know what? On your way to get the stationery, bring me a Bud Light. Like, I don't
Yep.
know. I think he needs to, what I if he was my client, I think what I would do is, or if I were him, I'd reach out to, sounds like he already did, reach out to the real estate agent that he has a relationship with, hopefully he has a relationship with,
Mhm.
that helped him sell the house, and see if that real estate agent has a local attorney that they work with on a regular basis. I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
you have like a go-to attorney, right?
Oh, yeah.
I
I have
gotta
a
I gotta have a
I have a
go-to
couple of
attorney
them.
that I can pick up the phone
Yep.
and have a conversation, and it doesn't cost me a dime.
Yep.
And then I've had, past clients be like, "Jen, what do I do?" I'm like, "You know what? Let me call my buddy,
Yeah.
and we'll have a quick conversation, and he'll give you at least a general, general direction."
Yep.
That's where I would start.
Yes.
That's where I would start, and then it doesn't cost you anything, and, and, and then, because I mean, can he just, not do anything? I mean,
Well, I'm reading through the replies to this post. So, some interesting comments here. Somebody wrote here, has OP received an actual summons and complaint of a lawsuit filed against him? If so, lawyer up immediately. If OP has instead received a demand letter from a random attorney or even just the buyers themselves, throw it in the trash and monitor your mail closely for a possible future summons and complaint, but no need for a lawyer yet, and absolutely do not respond to the letter. Now, somebody else just commented that they said, I got one of these requests a year after I sold a home. They said they wanted new cabinets because there was a plumbing leak. I replied, I'm not going to pay for that. That was the last I heard from them. And then there's somebody else said they had the same issue when they sold their house, that they had a strongly worded attorney letter sent to them. And her attorney wrote a strongly worded letter back telling them to go F themselves, and never heard from them again. So people, yeah. So I think, you're right. Get an attorney. If it was a formal, formal summons or letter from an attorney, certified letter, all the things, yeah, to get yourself an attorney. But if it's just so this just reminds me. So when I was sharing last week about how we sold my parents' house, my parents' house had a septic system. Remember I told you they wanted the whole credit thing?
yes.
Right? So a year later, their attorney, their sleazebag attorney, emailed our attorney saying that they wanted $10,000 because there was issues with the septic. Here we go again with that friggin' septic tank. And we never responded. We never answered them, and they went away.
Yeah,
So
that's probably what he needs to do.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly what he
It
needs to
wasn't a
do.
formal letter, an
Like a
official letter, I should say, from an
like a court
attorney,
letter,
a court
right?
letter. Then, yep. Then you need to.
I mean, honestly, like, what court would sign off on that? Like, what would that
Exactly. But
doesn't
you know
make
what,
any
Jen? You'd be
sense.
surprised. You would be surprised the amount of frivolous lawsuits that are out there. I'm
No, that's
telling
true.
you.
It's true, it's true, it's
Um,
true. That's
so
crazy.
so speaking of lawsuits, I got another one, and another lawsuit related thing. And wait till you hear this one. This falls under what's that new term everyone's saying now? I didn't expect that on my bingo card. So, um, this,
That sounds like an old one.
yeah,
No?
well,
Is
this
it
is
an old one and a new one? No,
it's
old but new to you,
it's new to
maybe?
me. It's new to me, Jen. I'm
That's
behind
all
on these
these
things.
young whippersnappers and all their fancy words and meanings. I don't understand what's going on anymore.
All
Can
right.
you turn down the TV? I can't hear.
Oh my God. Oh,
Laughter is
Jen.
the best
Okay.
medicine.
All right. So are you ready for this one?
A few moments later.
Okay. I'm gonna take that sound deck and I'm gonna
Listen here, Jackie.
all right, listen. Listen, Jen. Okay, you ready? All right, so
Yes,
here's the
Jackie.
next one. The title of this one, there's these people are suing the seller. Suing seller and saw our lawyer having lunch with the seller. What? What?
Is this like a Sex and the Cities episode or
Yeah,
like a
really.
little story
Wait,
or something? Like, are they,
wait, you ready for this? This is freaking hilarious. Wait till you hear this whole story. Okay. We recently purchased a house that the seller lied about in the disclosures: mold, entirely damaged roofs, fake septic, fake permits with the county, fake HVAC, 70 tons of trash hidden in the property, did not disclose fires during the closing, no insulation in the walls, etc. We also later found out that this is his fifth lawsuit in 10 years. Okay.
the whose fifth lawsuit?
The
The,
seller, the guy who owned this home.
okay.
The guy who lied about all this stuff in this house, all the stuff that was wrong. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we hired a lawyer 6 months ago and paid about $22,000 so far in legal fees.
Ooh.
I assumed everything was fine and progressing, as they claimed that this is a complex case and it needs a lot of research. In the meantime, we have spent nearly $200,000 fixing each problem of the house one at a time, and we were slowly hoping to get some justice from our lawyers at some point in time. However, today we were out at lunch at a restaurant and our lawyer was having lunch with the seller of the house, and it seemed very friendly, not work related. My wife didn't want to confront him, and I'm not sure what to make out of it, whether I should call out my lawyer. Am I overthinking this scenario, and can I trust him to continue the process fairly? Would a lawyer meet someone they are suing at a fairly expensive restaurant? Okay. Now, before I know where your head's going, like, why would you buy this house with all of these problems, right? With the mold, entirely damaged roof, all this other stuff.
Yep.
So here's the edit to that. They say to those who asked about the inspections, we unfortunately let our real estate agent handle all the inspections since we lived out of state, and she managed them and gave us the green light that everything was okay. We actually have copies of reports saying everything was in fair condition. For example, the HVAC. But when the company that did the inspection came to fix it the first time, they quoted us $27,000 to replace it as the unit was not repairable or serviceable. We probably should not have trusted the real estate agent that much, but our lawyer said that because the seller made no disclosures and we were able to get records from the fire department and testimonies from the neighbors, county, that all the work was unpermitted, unlicensed, and the damages were not reported, we have some legal standing. Thank you for the suggestions. I scheduled an appointment in 2 weeks in person with our lawyer, and we'll see what their explanation is for the case. Are you kidding me?
What the heck?
What this goes under, like, yeah, what in the hell is that? Like, you buy
Okay.
a house,
Well, so here's the thing. Okay.
Oh my
I'm going to
God.
say, so I have, from YouTube, I get on my local at 2 channels. So my local channel, I would get people relocating into the area. And I've had quite a few people that have contacted me and have relocated from out of state.
Yep.
And if you're living in Ohio, you're not flying back and forth to look at the house, do the inspection. So
Right. Yeah, I
okay.
get that.
So
Yeah.
they relied on me to do all the heavy lifting. However, there's an awesome thing that's a new technology that just came out like over 10 years ago. It's called a smartphone, and they have cameras.
Yeah.
And
I know.
what's cool with these smartphones with cameras is you can have video conversations with them, even though they're not there. So like during every single inspection, which was primarily for us here in Massachusetts, it was a home inspection, right? And we didn't need any extra contractors or anything of that nature. It was just the home inspection. But I mean, home inspection is like, 2.5 hours long. We started the inspection about halfway through. I FaceTimed them. And then I literally walked around with the inspector, and the inspector went through everything. Now they did get a full report, They got
Right.
a full report, but the inspector showed them. Yes, it was through FaceTime. They weren't there in person, but they weren't
Mhm.
relying on. I never want them to rely on my word
Mhm.
because I want them to because it gets, there's a lot of pressure on me, but also like they may have questions.
Right.
The inspector, they may have
Yeah.
questions on the report. And what better time to get those answers, but with the guy standing right there.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So in now you say, okay, from a buyer's perspective, is it up to the buyer to like, so, ask that? I think it's a 50-50. I think the real estate agent has a responsibility, but I think the buyer, like to just be like totally hands off, I think is a little bit
That's
too
on
trusting.
them. Listen,
Too trusting. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
I blame the real estate agent too. They should have done more about that instead of just like, oh, let me handle it and then give the thumbs up, everything's okay. Because I had that before during COVID. When COVID first
Mhm.
happened, I was all masked up, gloved up, and we had to get this inspection done. It was just me and the inspector in the house, and the couple, they didn't come. But actually, I think she was pregnant. Yeah, the wife was pregnant. So I did exactly what you said. Like I FaceTimed them. I took pictures. As soon as something came up, I would take a picture.
Yep.
Then we did a video call. They talked, they talked to the inspector. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, technology is a wonderful thing. And why didn't they use it in this scenario? Why did
I
she
think
not
it's, yeah, the
like
real estate agent is either, lazy or they're lazy
or
or they
shady?
just don't know what the hell
Or
they're doing
or shady.
or
Shady.
shady.
Shady. They want the deal
They're
to get
super
done.
shady.
They want the deal to get done. So I'm just reading this again, I'm just rereading and making sure I'm not missing anything. But so they're going back and saying the lawyers said because the seller made no disclosures and they have the records that there was a fire there and testimonies from the county that the work was unpermitted, unlicensed. Okay, yeah, okay. This is what I wanted to bring up. Why didn't I don't know about you, but here, like, and I've done this, and
Mhm.
our real estate attorneys do it. We check with the towns. We do a request
Mm.
to see if there's any open permits.
I
Why?
mean, nowadays, since the pandy, especially,
Yeah.
like everything is on. I mean, for my county, everything's online. Like I don't even have to go down to the town hall anymore.
Are
Like I
you serious?
literally,
No, we email. Yeah, right. We
they just
email the
email me the
request. Yeah.
whole history,
Yeah.
the entire permit card that shows every single permit that's ever been
Yeah.
pulled. And I, you do that also to make sure that there's no open permits, right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
also to see like what was done, what wasn't done,
Yep.
um, and a fire damage. The other thing too is like, okay, not all counties, not everything gets recorded. And
Right.
there are towns that, like, down a town in my local area, years and years and years and years ago, they had a fire. And I mean, this is probably going back, I don't know, 25 years ago. Okay. They lost all their records, lost everything in the fires, pre-computer day. Right.
Right.
So maybe they don't have those records, but I mean, God, if you would hope the home inspector went up and, checked the attic. Hopefully it had an attic access. Hopefully they went into a basement or crawl space if it had, whatever it had. Like,
I don't
it's hard to totally miss that a house has had a fire.
I don't
You know
understand.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's really, really tough to miss. Um, if you've had a good inspection. What were the other things that were on the list that they missed that they,
They said there was mold, an entirely damaged roof, fake septic, fake permits, fake
that I don't
fake
understand fake
HVAC.
permit.
Like, that doesn't make
A
sense,
fake
although he did
septic?
say
Like, what does that mean?
right, what do you mean a
What does
fake
the heck
septic?
does
Like,
that mean?
I don't
All
know.
their poop goes out into the street?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
yeah,
What does
really,
that
like,
mean?
or unless he's meaning it doesn't work because he went on to say that the HVAC, the inspection said they came out, it was fine, but then HVAC guy came out and said that it's gonna cost $27,000 to replace it, that it wasn't repairable or
Mm,
serviceable. Like, there's just a whole lot of shady going on here. The more I'm reading this, I'm like, this is just
something's
yeah,
not So I think that there
Something's
is
not right, and they're worried about their lawyer having lunch with the seller.
seriously, seriously.
Like, guys, you know what? You were stupid enough to rely on your real estate agent for everything. You didn't do your due diligence on your inspections, and you bought the piece of crap house. So,
You know what you do? You call a real estate agent, put a for sale sign in the front of that house right away. Get
yes,
rid of it.
yep.
That's what I would do.
Don't dump any more. They already dumped a ton of money into it, but you know what?
Just sell it. Cover
No.
your losses and,
Yep.
just try to do the best you can, cash out and buy another house. And,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they can't. I don't know. Maybe they don't have the funds to do that anymore. Maybe it's
And maybe they're out, but
they're out.
now they're looking to recoup some of their money. It looks like, but
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what?
no.
I really, really, really think, Jackie,
Yeah.
I really think that we're gonna have we're gonna have tons of material for this podcast because over the next many years because of the craziness during COVID,
Yep.
people just being like, I don't give a crap
Yep.
that if it's got no windows, I just want it. And I'm
Yep.
going to give you way over asking. I'm just done. I need space. Just give it to me. I'll give you whatever you want. Just let me buy
Yep.
the house.
Yep.
And waiving everything, everything. And I think it's going to come back and bite people in the ass.
It is.
I wonder if I wonder. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of put my little conspiracy hat on for a second. I wonder if she's not telling the truth. She's bullshitting about the inspections and just to make herself feel better.
Oh,
And that she never did have the
yeah.
inspections.
100%.
You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
And blame it
She
on
was
the
one of those,
agent.
do you know what I mean? One of those buyers.
Very possible.
The
Yep.
buyer, the agent maybe, was just like, what do you want to do? There's, multiple offers and the buyer's like, well, what do you think? And the agent just wants to make the deal and everything looks fine.
Right.
All right, fine. Waive the inspections.
No.
That might what have happened. That may be what have happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It's very
And now
possible.
she feels embarrassed about it, mad about it, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, then here's the other thing. Okay. We're just going to unpack this thing more and more and more the deeper we go. So when you have inspections, you have home inspectors.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't the home inspector find this stuff? And why aren't they suing the home inspection company?
That's what I was saying too. Like, why they should be going after him.
Yep.
They're suing the wrong person. They're suing the wrong person. I mean, I understand they want to go after sellers. And I think as soon as they heard that the 5 lawsuits have been filed against this seller, they were like, oh, this will be in the bag because,
Yep.
he's done this sort of stuff before. But yeah, you're right. The inspector should have been sued to allow to say, something's not right. Something's not right here.
Something's not right. And
Right.
you know what? It's a sad day when you make a bad decision.
And then you turn around and try to sue the seller.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the money pit.
Yep. Yes,
it is what it is.
It is. So,
And so sorry. But I think if I was them, I'd just cut my losses and get out of Dodge.
just sell the house.
Because I mean, a house like that, I don't know. I want to know what fake septic means. What does that even mean?
They turn comments off on it too. Otherwise, I would ask. I'd go in there and be like, "What do you mean by fake septic? What does that
septic?
Explain, elaborate."
It's fake news.
It's fake news. Okay.
Maybe it goes on a spaceship. It goes to planet Reddit. All the poop goes on the spaceship. They get teleported. No, it's a teleportation septic system.
Oh my God.
You just go and it just it just magically just goes into a teleportation machine. And
oh my God.
Goes to planet Reddit.
I can't with you. I can't. You're killing me.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Do you want to hear the next story? This one's pretty.
Oh, why not?
Well, you know what? I came across this And it really got me going because this happened to me 2 years ago.
Uh-oh.
I had a listing, and this
Uh-oh.
same exact scenario happened to me, and I'm like, "You know what? I gotta I have to share this one because it's bringing up all the angst again." So anyway,
Do
yep.
you need a moment, Jackie?
No, I'm good.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Take it take as much
I think
time
I
as you
can
need.
get through it. I think I
Yeah,
could do it.
take as much time as you need. It's all
Okay.
good.
All
We'll
right.
wait for you.
It's all good. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And you may have seen this too. Okay, here's the title. Buyer changed from cash to finance mid-deal.
Oh, yes. This is a very
Yep.
familiar
You ready?
tale. Yep.
I received an offer on my property in Texas. Presumed husband and wife couple. Buyers offer a full price cash offer with no option period to close in 15 days and 2% escrow. I accepted and all parties signed. Regardless of no option period, they went ahead and did an inspection. After the inspection, they now want a price concession. And they want to add financing to the deal, and they want to remove one of the buyers from the contract. They are not adding a third party financing addendum, but want to add the finance amount to paragraph 3. They say they can still close on the original date, now 9 days away. Their, len- their, uh-huh. Their lender is saying the same. Incidentally, the buyer that showed the original proof of funds for the cash sale in an IRA is the one that they want off the contract. Looking for some
Oh,
advice here. Should I even entertain this or just ask them to perform the original deal? I feel like if the buyer wants to refi after close, that's their prerogative, but not part of my deal. I don't want to assume why they're removing one of the two buyers from the contract, but can't they title it however they want after the purchase, regardless of what is on the contract? My agent isn't giving me a lot of direction here. Okay,
I
th-
just wanna flip and scream, Jackie.
well,
This is exactly why what we talk about this all the time.
I
This is
know.
exactly I'm getting on a soapbox for 2 seconds here. This is why we talk about the barrier to entry in this business is too stinking low.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is a hands down, real estate 101
Mm-hmm.
negotiation, easy peasy. Do you want to do this, Mr. Seller? No.
No.
Hard no. Do you want to buy it or you want to forfeit your deposit? Done. End of story. Next question. This is the real estate agent needs to you know, man up.
Yep.
Like, do the thing that maybe they don't like confrontation, maybe they're whatever.
Mhm.
Don't care. Don't care.
Mhm.
Represent your client. Do it.
Right.
This is not hard
Be
because there's no conversation here.
No, there's not
Ah,
because Jen, they're all about, and I hate to say, I'm gonna say we're all like this, but those agents are out there, they're all about, they just wanna get the commission check, and that's
they
it.
because
And they're
you know what? Whether it goes cash or mortgage, they don't care because they're going to get paid. They're
ex
going to get paid.
exactly. Now this exact scenario, when I was reading this, I'm like, "Oh my god, this sounds like my deal from 2 years ago." This exact scenario happened to my listing, and same exact thing. They removed one person off of the deal who it was their proof of funds that they showed to say, "Oh, we're paying cash." And
So shady.
2 weeks, it was 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before closing, we got wind that they were financing it. Oh, because I think they were sending an appraiser. They were sending an appraiser to the house. That's how we found out.
Okay.
I was like a lunatic when I found this out because I got wind of it. I called the other agent and I felt bad because I'd done deals with this other agent before. Lovely, lovely
Sure.
team. And I was so shocked. I'm like, are you kidding me? You knew this. So I called her up. I go, you've got to be freaking kidding me. I said,
Now
you're
you now now you didn't know that they had shift gears at this point. You just got a call
no.
from an appraiser.
Yeah. Yeah. We heard from the appraiser. We're going to go to such and
So
such Lincoln Avenue, and we're going to go. I would go, wait, what? Why? And then I called her. I called the other agent, and she said, "Well, yeah, they have the cash. They have the cash." And then we felt, well, no, what happened was, sorry, go back. I called our attorney. I called the seller's attorney, and who I've done business with before, and she got wind of it around the same time I did because they were removing one of the parties off of the contract because they were the ones with the proof of funds.
okay.
She was ballistic because she said they're in breach of contract. She goes, they had to perform no matter what.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So the excuse was They were selling a house, right? They were downsizing. So they were selling a house. Um, so they took the other person off because they didn't need the funds because they sold that house. And so they had the money for that, but they want to get the loan anyway because they didn't want to dip into their IRAs or their whatever funds that they had or mutual funds to pay for the house. They didn't want to take all the cash out. I said, right, but they're selling their house and they're going to be able to take those profits to put back into the mutual funds. I said, this makes absolutely no sense. I was like a nut. I was a complete nut. Well, P.S. They ended up going through and getting the loan. And our lawyer, she was like, "Oh my God, I love working with her because she's such a hard ass." She rode their other lawyer and it was yeah, but it ended up they got the loan anyway. And I was so pissed. I mean, my seller was like, for him, he goes, "I feel betrayed." Like they totally put up this whole facade that this is a cash offer.
Did it change the closing date?
No.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it didn't. But this is the thing. They've been behind the scenes getting approved for the loan.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's what's
I
crappy
have
about
100% had the same situation.
Right.
And, these days, because when that happened, it's like you change your processes, right? As soon as something happens, you're like, okay, put that in the to-do list for every single transaction. So,
Yep.
not only do I do a proof of funds, it's like you want to get a letter from a financial institution, but it's like, no, I need to see this I want to make sure that this is liquid. This is not something like the stock market's going to go down tomorrow and you're not going to be able to get all this money out. Okay. So, I've had situations where, I haven't had a situation where it's like all of a sudden, or maybe actually I might have had a situation where, an appraiser has called me out of the blue, but but usually it's, the buyer's agent will be like, "Hey, just want to let you know." Actually, I just had that happen about a year ago. Just want to let you know they're getting a loan, but they're still closing within the time frames. And if they can't get the loan lined up in time, we're going to close in time. And it's like, well, that's good. Because if you don't, they're in breach.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the appraisal, I was bent out of shape too. I was bent out of shape because it's like, now you got to have appraisal. Because the thing of it is what buyers don't realize, they just don't care, is, these are all weak points. The more hurdles you have, the more kinks in the armor, the more potential reasons for this thing to derail, the weaker the situation is. It's like, okay, if I have got to get from point A to point B, point A is the start of the contract, point B is the finish line.
Yep.
How do I get there with the least amount of friction as possible? Well, a cash deal, that eliminates the mortgage approval process, the underwriting process, the appraisal process. What if the rates change? What if the lender's backlogged? What if the appraisal is late? All these things could be, friction. And yes, the seller gets paid. At the end of the day, the seller will get their money at the closing, but it's a lot more friction. It's a lot more, many more reasons for something to go sideways.
Yep.
The buyers get, laid off.
Yep.
Buyers get, something happens and they don't qualify for the loan. It's just like, so it's so important to just be like, you know what? And I will tell the buyer's agent, as long as they understand that this is what's happening, but it makes me my stress level goes up because it's like, yes, there's a difference between what should happen and what actually happens.
Right.
And yes, they have the cash, and yes, they should, or they'll be in default. But you and I both know, if it's the week before closing and the buyer says, listen, I need an extra week to close because they're doing this financing, even though they don't have a leg to stand on, what's the seller going to do?
Right. What are they going to do?
The seller could say, if you don't perform, I'm not going to sell you the house.
Right.
Great. Now the seller has to start all over with a new buyer.
Right.
And they have to pay carrying costs and utilities and taxes and all kind of things. And
Yep.
who knows if that seller is going to buy another property, now that derails the whatever's happening after the sale of that house.
Right.
So they kind of put the seller over a barrel in that regard because the
Yeah.
seller's not going to say no. So it just is, it's so shady because you're absolutely
Mhm.
right. They could do the mortgage after you close.
Exactly.
Do the mortgage after you close.
Totally do that.
It's not like, and then you take the money, you cash out, refi, and take the money and put it back into where it was where it started.
Exactly.
I
Yep.
mean, most of these or retirement accounts and things like that, when it's a house purchase, you can take it out with most of them, the best of my knowledge, you can take them out with a penalty. There's,
Mhm.
there's a penalty free withdrawal for home purchases.
Yep.
So what's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I know. It's but this
mm,
happened a lot during the pandemic, where people were trying to get their offers accepted. They were submitting fake cash offers, and then when it happened to me, I was like, "Oh, oh my gosh." Like, I just looked at that as like, that's like the shadiest, most deceitful thing. Like, you're doing a loan on the back end. Are you kidding me? You knew this all along.
how about this? Buyer makes an offer, right?
Yeah,
Says they're putting it down, you know, on a $500,000 purchase, they're going to put down, $200,000.
right.
Okay, great. I call the lender, and I've got this a couple times. They make the offer. Is this subject to them selling the home? Nope. It is not subject to them selling the home. So they do not have a home to sell.
Right.
Nope, it is not subject to them selling a home, is what the
Mhm.
buyer's agent will say.
Right.
This has happened to me several times. I do my due diligence. I call the lender and I say,
Mhm.
Mr. Lender, the lenders are legally not allowed to give me, as representing the seller, they're not legally allowed, right, to give us any
Right.
confidential information. They can't
Right.
give us like how much money they have or what they're
Yeah.
qualified for, what they made, none of that stuff. FICO scores, they can't give that to us. But if I ask them on the subject twos, do they need to sell a house? Because the lender will require it. Does
Yeah.
the lender is in order for the buyers to qualify for this loan, is it subject to them removing their previous mortgage? They have to pay off that mortgage. They have to sell that house in order
Yes.
to qualify for this mortgage.
Yep.
And the answer was yes. So you know what they've done? They hide a home sale contingency in the mortgage. Because now if they don't sell the house,
How did they do that? I didn't
think
hear.
about this for a second. Think about this for a second. The mortgage, you have a mortgage contingency. The mortgage contingency in a contract says if they don't qualify for a mortgage, that's a get out of jail free card. They get the deposit back. In order to get to be approved for the mortgage, they have to sell their house and release the lien on that property so that so that their numbers, their debt to income ratio, their numbers qualify on this
Right.
new purchase.
Okay.
If they don't sell that house, they don't qualify for the mortgage. If they don't qualify for the mortgage, they can back out of the contract and they can
Right.
do that without stating that to the seller that it's subject to selling the house.
Unbelievable.
Shady, right? Shady. So
Unbelievable.
this is, and I saw
Wow.
this. I've always called and asked, I've always had that conversation, but I saw it a lot during pandemic. During the pandemic, people are like, I don't want to tell the seller because, and agents that were not, that were A, shady, and B, didn't know the business, were like, oh, if we do this thing, then this will be a way for you to get your offer accepted because then there won't be a home sale contingency. And it's like, you
Yeah.
dumbass,
Wow.
it's in the
Oh my
mortgage.
god.
Now, it's obviously like I mean, it's not a difficult thing to prove. There's nothing to prove. I mean, if you don't qualify for your mortgage, you don't qualify for your mortgage.
Right.
But a whole nother level of shadiness,
Yeah.
you betcha.
Oh, totally.
You
But
betcha. So, like, this is a little public service announcement to all those people out there thinking about selling their house. If you're working with a real estate agent,
oh yes.
make sure you have that agent vet out those offers and have conversations with those lenders,
Yep.
and make sure, the other question that I'm having them, been asking the lenders, it's like, okay, you can't tell me how much money they make. I get it. You can't tell me how much they actually are approved for, right? Because Jackie, they'll give us a pre-approval for 600,000 because they're making the offer for 600, which, to be honest, I think is a mistake. Because as a seller's agent, I'm like, I want to see. I had this happen last week. The buyers submitted an offer. The pre-approval said 800. The offer was for 6 and change. That I went to my sellers and I'm like, you know what? If the interest rates increase, they can afford to weather the storm. But if you have a $600,000 pre-approval and a $600,000 house, and they don't lock the rate, and the rate jumps a half a point, they may not be pre-approved on that house anymore.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So
Yep.
there's just things to check and but yeah. So that's my dissertation.
Okay.
On vetting out offers.
Well, thank you.
But on this story, this guy needs to tell the guy to go pound sand.
Well, you know what? I mean, if they're just a couple of weeks out from closing. You're so funny. Oh, Jen. But at this point, though, what are they going to do? It's the risk. If they say, forget it, I'm not selling it to you because now you're getting financing. I mean, then they got to, like I said, you got to go back and start over, go back to ground zero, get a new buyer. If you're only a couple of weeks out,
I know
it's a risk, but you got to,
I think they weather the storm. I think that the big thing that the agent needs to relay to the other agent is that, that's fine. Not happy.
Yep.
Underhanded, shady.
Yep.
But you know what?
Very shady.
Here's how we're going to do it. That you're going to do this, fine. You want an appraiser to come in the house? Technically, the seller doesn't have to allow the appraiser.
That's true. That's
so true. Does not have to. The seller could really say, "You want appraisal? Fine. This is when we're closing. You can do it the next day."
But what they should do also, Jen, if they're going to move on with this sale, they should get an updated proof of funds from the actual people that are buying the house. Right.
Very good. Yes. Yeah.
So
100%, Jackie.
If you're going to move forward, right? If you're going to move forward, we want to see that you got the cash, because if you can't perform, if you can't get your loan, you're still buying it.
Yep.
So that's
good point, Jackie.
See, I have them every so often, Jen.
That's what I got for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel so important. I feel so important. All right, Jen, I think we have time for one more.
Oh, yes.
Okay, this has to do with another, let me see here. I think it has to do with the seller again. A lot of aggressiveness in the stories today. A lot of fighting going on. All right.
It's very interesting.
Right?
Right.
And this is
I really feel like I have a cape on today. We're saving everyone, that all of our 2 listeners, you know, they can listen to this and be like, we're going to save you from this nightmare, all these bad decisions. Just we'll lead the way.
Yes.
And we will save Jackie and Jim will save the day.
Saving one deal
lead
at
the
a
way
time.
and save the day. Save the day, lead the way.
Saving one deal at a time, and the ethical way we save the deals. So anyway, this is a good one. All right, this is the title of this is Aggressive Counter Offer. Can the deal be salvaged? Yeah, here we go. You know where this is going. Okay. I'm telling you, Jen, I'm going to come up there to Plymouth and I'm going to take that sound thing. And no. All right, here we go. We're currently shopping in an area with very limited stock, but all market reports indicate that the sales price is down year over year and time on the market is up. However, every now and then, a very desirable house will pop up and it's gone immediately. After 3 months, the house we wanted came on the market, but priced quite high. We were a bit slow to move on it, so our full price offer came 2 days after listing. There were no other offers. On the 3rd day, we started negotiating a rent back. The seller's agent indicated that the sellers would sign. After 12 hours of texting back and forth, we got a counter offer with very aggressive terms. They wanted a 5-day inspection period, a 10-day appraisal period, 1 day to negotiate the appraisal within those 10 days, and a $50,000 escrow that then would be non-refundable and released to the sellers after 10 days. These terms were a complete surprise and not discussed during the day's negotiations. We were upset and told them it was a hard no. Our agent spoke with theirs, and we were told it was a productive conversation. After calming down, we resubmitted an offer with some minor concessions. We probably could have conceded a bit more, but emotions were high. Another half day of negotiations go by, and agent tells us that sellers will not budge on anything and will only resubmit their original counter. It sounds like maybe our agents also got very heated. Our agent seems very hesitant to work with the seller's agent again. We cannot accept their terms since we're not sure we can even schedule inspection and appraisal during that time. Mostly, though, we can't lose that much money if our loan fails for some reason out of our control. Is this deal dead, or are those terms a red flag? They go on to say, the house is a relatively new 4-bedroom, 3-bath and desirable neighborhood, but near a significant road. Owners bought 2 years ago well over listings, suggesting they got into a bidding war. They are currently building their new home, which will be done in the fall. One of the last things our agent insinuated was that maybe they were hoping for a long rent back, possibly until their new home was done. I think the commenter's saying they don't really want to sell or correct. Our guess is that they thought their sale would go a lot different with multiple bids, and they would be able to dictate the terms. Another edit: they paid over listing price at the time, not the current listing. So, reading this, that tells me big time that they're looking to recoup. They thought they were in the same market they were in when they bought that house.
Yep.
Right. So those terms, that was normal. Those are even now here in Jersey, those terms, that's a normal thing. A 5-day inspection, 10-day appraisal. I mean, 10-day appraisal, that's tight. I mean, we usually do that would be more like a 20-day appraisal period we would do. Like, that's more realistic. But what they're asking for, dude, that was in a market 2 years ago when you bought the house.
So run that by me again with the 50,000. What was the 50,000 for?
They wanted a 50,000. Wait, I just lost it, Jen. Hold on. Here we go. They wanted a $50,000 escrow that would be non-refundable and released to the sellers after 10 days. See, here in Jersey, you can't do that. Yeah, after 10 days, you can't do that. The seller's attorney hangs on to the deposits. And they can't.
That's just not. There's reasonable and there's unreasonable, and that is just not reasonable, because the main issue I would have with that is that does not give enough time for a lender to issue a mortgage commitment.
No, 10 days. No, that's what I'm just saying. No. Here we do more like 20 or 21 days, whatever, in Jersey. Yeah. Like, that would be the minimum we would do in Jersey. Yep. So yeah, the comments on here, people are saying, this one person said sellers still want it to be 2022. It's not. Grow up. My neighbors tried to sell their place 3 months ago at 2022 prices. They had to bring it down $50K over 3 months. And it was once it was priced at today's market, it sold within 24 hours. Yeah. These sellers are stuck in 2022. Yep.
100%. And you know what? The thing is like, they thought they were going to get all these offers. They put it on the market. And the fact that they were the only buyer after several days, they're still only the only buyer that they were negotiating with.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I would be concerned. Okay. So you're talking they're building and they're looking to rent back in the fall, right? So yep. I got two issues. Number one issue, mortgages. When you get a mortgage, a conventional mortgage,
you can't do that.
Mortgage you cannot do that for more than 60 days. They'll allow you to do a rent back use and occupancy for 60 days.
That's absolutely right.
And after 60 days, they become a tenant, and now it's a rental. And you sign legal documentation at the closing saying that it is not going to be a rental. It's going to be a primary owned property.
Exactly.
That's issue number one. Number two, that's a huge risk, because they're going to become tenants. Once they become a tenant, depending on what state this is in. What state did they say? What state?
It didn't say.
So depending on what state they're in,
Yep.
Tenants have a ton of rights,
Mhm.
scary amount of
Mhm.
rights. So
Yep.
the minute they go from being the owner to a tenant in that property, they could easily they could be total jerks
Mhm.
and drag their feet.
Yep.
And what now the buyers are writing another Reddit story saying that they got nightmare sellers that won't move out of the house, right? What should you do?
Yes.
Don't
That's
agree to a lengthy occupancy. Don't agree to a rent back.
Yep.
I would rather do. I actually have a similar situation with a client right now who is selling their house and they're
Mhm.
building. We're closing mid-July, so like they started the process, deposit and all that months and months and months ago, and we kind of waited until like, okay, this is our target date on what we're gonna, and then we just kind of back it out, add a
Mhm.
little bit of time, and then put it on the market and let people know this is the date, but we'll pad it a little bit, right?
Yep.
So, but because of but it's only July. It's only 2 months away.
Mhm.
Our normal escrow period is like in Massachusetts is like 45 days, 6 weeks
Yep. Same here.
is the time frame. So you're only talking like 8 weeks, and it's in every new construction is different.
Yep.
Every new construction is different. Our new construction is in a 55 plus neighborhood. It's like the second phase, and the builders like it's more predictable that
Mhm.
the chances are lower, the risk is lower that there's going to be a huge delay, right?
Right.
Because it's like that
Yep.
when they bring in the framers, they're doing multiple houses. So it's less of a chance that you're going to find out 2 weeks before closing, oh, it's going to be another 6 weeks. Like
Mhm.
highly unlikely, right? There might be delays. Yeah, usually the delays are from the final inspections or the plumbing inspector is late or whatever, but it's not weeks and weeks. So
Mhm.
we set the closing date for the date that we're going to close on, and then the buyers agreed to extend the closing, which is
Okay.
what I recommended because I'm like, you know what? The other thing too is it's like now you own a house, you're paying a mortgage. You're paying a
Mhm.
mortgage on a property that you can't live in. You
Yep.
can't live in. So whatever their living situation is now, they're going to be paying twice.
Well, do you do have you done lease backs where the owners after closing they're renting it back from the
Yeah.
buyers and
So
they're paying rent? I've had that.
yeah, so like here's the thing. If it's a use and occupancy, it can or can and it doesn't have to have a monetary value.
True.
Use and
Right.
occupancy can be free, and use and occupancy can be $50 a day.
Yeah. Yep.
But when you get into that rent back situation, well, then
Yeah.
it's exactly that. It's a rent back, it's a lease
Exactly.
back,
For
it's
that length of
money.
time.
It's
Yeah.
money.
You're right.
I would not do a rent back. I would never. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, listen, it depends. It depends, but you're right. You don't know who you're going to get. You don't know if these
Yeah,
people are just going to make it difficult to get out of the house. There's a risk. Listen, there's a risk with everything in real estate. Everything,
there really is.
everything is a risk. You just got to trust that the people you're working with, the professionals you hire are guiding you in the right direction.
Yep.
And you got to like some people and in this market because there's such limited housing available, these lease backs are a common thing now, right?
Yep.
So but
There's
it's
a
a risk.
there's a risk in even the most simple transactions. I had a cash transaction. This was like years and years and years ago. And you know what the big risk was?
What?
We were trying to close before the seller died
Oh.
because the seller was elderly and sick and
Oh.
literally assigned a power of attorney to a family member that was running back and forth to the nursing home to have him sign documents.
Oh,
And we were like, "Oh, come on, hang in there, buddy. Hang
that's
in." I
so
was on the
sad.
buyer side. I was on the
Oh,
yeah, I was on the I'm like, "Just hang in there, buddy."
oh my
And
god.
we got it done, but I'm like, anything can happen.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
you're right.
If he
You're
passed away,
so yeah,
we're game over. Start all over.
you're so
Who knows
right.
if he has a will, if he doesn't have a will, now you gotta go through probate and all the
Yep,
things, right? So,
yep.
but you're absolutely right. I think there's like this false sense of security with buyers and with sellers that they think that, once they have a signed document with these conditions that like they can celebrate. Like we can breathe easy.
No.
And
It ain't
that
over. It ain't over till you walk away from the closing table. That's
when your
my
name is,
motto.
yeah, when either your name's on the deed or your name's off the deed,
Yep.
and you either got the keys or you get cash.
Yep.
Then you can like be like, yes, we
Yeah.
did it. It's over.
Exactly.
But until that point, anything could happen. I had
Yep.
a woman, one of the agents on my I think she was in my office. The buyer went out and bought a brand new car 2 weeks before closing. So there's this little thing called debt to income ratio. That's how you get approved for a mortgage.
You
And
just screwed that up.
if you increase the amount of debt but don't increase the amount of income, the banks don't like it. The bank, because then you don't qualify.
Why did
I know. I tell my buyers, especially the first time home buyers, I'm like, don't buy anything. They're like, can I buy groceries? Yes, you can buy groceries.
Yeah, but furniture, they'll want to buy furniture. I'm
They
like,
want to buy furniture. No,
Yeah,
don't buy any big purchases. Don't
No.
make any big, because they all get scrutinized, right?
But it's amazing how many people ignore it though. So like I watch, my TikTok addiction. There's this girl, Jordan Nutter. She's a mortgage lender and she does freaking awesome TikToks and doing stories like skits of like real stories that she's dealt with. And I can't tell you how many she's done where either people buying a car or they didn't say they had an extra car. Like she did this one story where it was a couple and the husband had like 3 extra cars, like classic cars, and never told the wife and had them stored in a different in like a storage facility. When they did the credit check, they found there was these loans on these cars.
Oh my! So he didn't even own them free and clear. They were car loans on them.
No, yeah,
okay. I'm sorry. I mean, I was divorced now, but I was married like 25. Like, I see you're married. I see every piece of paper that comes in this house. How do you miss?
How do you miss that?
How do you miss that paper?
Probably he probably has like a PO box or something set up, or they're being sent somewhere else to bills.
So you call your real estate attorney and ask for a good referral for a divorce attorney.
Amen.
Seriously, I mean,
would totally do that. Are you kidding me? Like, oh my God, talk about like lying, deceit, and no.
Oh, the drama. This is like, what's that show from the 80s there? The Dallas show there that was based in Dallas, and it was like a big thing.
Dallas.
And the guy got shot at the end. It was like, oh, come on, Jackie, help me out here. What's the name of that
show? The show is Dallas.
Dallas. Is that what it is? Dallas.
Yes.
What was the name of the guy?
I'm looking at you like it's Dallas. Jack.
I know. I'm like, I don't. I hear you.
I'm just busting you.
No.
Oh my God. You're great.
So, but it's like, the drama. Okay, since we're on that, proof of funds and all the things.
Yeah.
Talk about drama. Talk about like crazy stuff. I had this young guy who's in the military. He's a Marine, right? He was discharged. He was no longer a Marine, but he was a Marine, right?
Okay.
Doing a VA loan. He's got, they check funds, right? They want verified funds, and they want to know, like, bank accounts, every lender does it. And when you see a bank statement showing that you have some money, like no lender is going to give you a mortgage if you have no money. If you have zero money. They want to see they want to make sure, they're like, I don't want you to fail.
Yeah.
Like, we want to make sure you have some cash.
Yep.
Well, we had a problem with this buyer.
Oh no.
He didn't trust banks. He was like, hard nose. I don't trust anybody.
Oh no.
All his cash in a safe under his bed, probably next to his gun. He would not budge. He's like, I have a right to have the money. I don't have to put it in a bank. You cannot force me to put it in a bank.
Oh my
You cannot force
God.
me to do that. It's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. And it's like, you know what? Okay. You're absolutely right. This is America. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're going to grant you a mortgage. It doesn't. He ended up getting denied.
Yeah.
He got mad, disappeared, and never heard from him again.
Oh my God. So,
but he just like, it's like I hate to tell you, buddy, but these are the rules of the game.
yep.
These are just the rules. And whether you agree with them or not, and you got to know the rules.
Yep.
You got to know the rules. You got to put the money in. Don't take it out. Don't buy big purchases. Don't
Yep.
do the things, and and buy cars and
follow the rules.
And if you don't tell them up front, they're gonna find out.
Mhm.
They're gonna find out. Like, don't leave stuff out.
They all find out. They find out everything. Yeah, don't hide crap from your spouse that you own like three other cars and you have loans on them. So yeah. So anyway, Jen, on that,
Steve would never do that to you.
What?
Steve would never do that to you.
Oh God, no, he would never.
You
do
probably
that.
kill him. You go Tony Soprano on his butt.
I would totally go Tony Soprano on him. Absolutely.
Watch out, Steve. I hope he listens to this. He's probably afraid of you. I would be.
No,
with that Jersey accent, I'd be like,
no, he laughs at me when I get my Sicilian up and my Jersey up, and yeah, I know. He's just
he's a great guy.
He is a good guy. We'll keep him. We'll keep him.
With you. So there you go.
All right. So Jen, yeah, right. Oh my God. We're like just over an hour here, my dear. We covered a lot today.
I think it's great. And thanks for digging up those stories. And
my pleasure.
Next week. So I think it's time to sign off. Yeah. Thanks everybody. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. And if you're watching this on YouTube, all the links for the podcast are in the description. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Jackie's YouTube channel, in the description.
Please.
And look us up and check out some of the content. You got anything to add there, Jackie?
No, I think you covered it all, Jen. You did a great job.
You too. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Job well done. Survived another week. Yes. All right. Till next time, we're gonna just gonna kind of.
Oh God, what are you doing?
Just saving the planet from Reddit stories. One story at a time. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.